Hello, welcome guys. In this video I would like to show you some cool tips and tricks for Lancelot, which you can implement into your own gameplay quite easily. I will include the emblem and build or the preparation for Lancelot. This is the build that I used in this game or I usually use for Lancelot. And this is the emblem that I always use for Lancelot and jungle heroes. Note, if you have no any idea about Lancelot's skills you should watch my separated video about his skills, which is shown in your screen right now. Tip number 1. It's actually a drafting tip. When the enemy picks 2 or more squishy scale heroes you should automatically pick Lancelot. But why? Because Lancelot is a early aggressive type hero. He can aggressively kill enemy by just one shot combo in early game. And also you should abuse those scale heroes while they are farming yet. What is a scale hero? They are those heroes who don't do anything in early game. But as long as they get those necessary core items they shine in an instant. Anyway, moving on to the tip number 2. Maximizing his passive. Lancelot's passive gives you an extra damage and critical hit in a short period of time. By dashing, you get 1 stack of passive that gives the extra critical hit and damage. His passive stacks up to 4 stack, which can easily fulfilled by just dashing on jungles. Here are some examples of maximizing his passive. I recommend this trick when you are going to take the red buff. Just dash on this neutral first, then on the red buff. By doing that, you get an instant 3 passive stacks, so you could take the red buff a bit quicker. Moving on to the tip number 3. If you are a new Lancelot player or probably average Lancelot player, you know that Blade of the Heptasis is a must, especially in early game. Here's an example of combo with the item Blade of the Heptasis. Another example. So you see that massive damage from the item, Blade of the Heptasis. Plus combine it with the endless battle item. I'll show you how Blade of the Heptasis works. So basically Heptasis works like this. First let's compare with and without Heptasis. $182 damage without Heptasis. Let's take a look with Heptasis. We must know the passive of Heptasis first. This item is basically known for ambush. When this item's passive is activated you will deal an extra physical damage. That is equal to 240 plus 60% physical attack. This item's passive will only activate if you haven't received any damage for 5 seconds. Take a look on the damage. The physical attack was increased by 461 physical damage. Now I'll explain the detail of Endless Battle. You can skip through the video if you already know this. Endless Battle's passive is where you get extra true damage after using a skill. 386 physical attack damage without Endless Battle. Now with Endless Battle. The physical attack was increased by 261 physical damage with true damage. True damage is the damage that cannot be resisted by a physical armor. Now let's combine both items. The Blade of the Heptasis and the Endless Battle. Look how massive it is if it's in the real game. I hope you understood the point of this item explanation. Anyway, let's move on to the tip number 4. Early rotation tips. Some of you might know some of the following early rotation tips. When using Lancelot you don't actually have to be so aggressive in early game. You need to get level 4 or your ultimate before ganking anyone. If the enemy has the hero that can possibly stop you on team fights, Like this, Franco's ultimate, and Lolita's first skill in the slow on her ultimate. Basically, you have to be double careful when they have a counter hero for Lancelot. Lancelot is weak against crowd control heroes, especially against Kufra. If you have an enemy Franco, always check this bush first. Just to make sure that Franco won't hook my buff to delay my rotation. Position your skill like this so you hit both jungle with the same amount of damage. After that, take the Lithoender. It's one of the most important jungle in early game. Go on red buff right after you take the Lithoender. Just like I mentioned earlier, maximize your passive even when jungling. You can use Retribution on Lithoender if the enemy can test it. You could use your Retribution until the turtle spawn at 30 seconds. Because Retribution's cooldown is 35 seconds. To make sure you have Retribution if the turtle get contested. After all, you could gank and kill. The enemy's laning is 2-1-1, so this bottom lane gets a hard time to level up. And get easier to gank. Take a look how I maximize my passive by dashing on minions. It's a lot more easier to one-shot combo with a 4-stack passive. It's okay not to get kill on the first gank, you can still have this crab and the turtle. I did a wrong rotation this game. I'm supposed to rotate at the top lane. Basically, you must rotate wherever the turtle lane is. Right after you take the turtle, repeat the process. Take the blue buff, then the red buff and gank again, but this time you need to push. This time there might be a team fight, which you should respond. Anyway, moving on to the last tip. Tip number 5. Be wise on using your necessary skills. I'm pointing on his first skill. It's very risky if you got no first skill on 5v5 team fight. His ultimate is not necessarily needed. You could actually use it to chase or escape from anyone. Or for farm purposes, including when clearing minions. I see his second skill and basic attack as a source of damage. Escape with his ultimate. For farm purposes. For chasing. Anyway, that's all I got for this video. I hope you learned something new. If you did, hit the like button and subscribe for more upcoming videos like this. And see you guys on my next video.